Hello, you're very welcome to this week's edition of the Cosy Corner. And tonight we feature musicians from near Rochford Bridge in County Westmeath. We have Declan Fox on box, Mick Hanlon on box, Michael Cooney on pipes, Eamon Corrigan on percussion, Leona Kelly on whistle, and finally Martin Fox on guitar. If I could begin with you, Declan, you're very welcome to the Cosy Corner.
Thanks very much.
So you grew up in Rochford Bridge. Right. Tell me a little bit about how you started playing Irish music.
Yeah, well, there was music in the family the whole time. My father played accordion, so I suppose from listening to him playing at that, I decided I'd like to start playing. So I went to Castletown Gig in Kyotis. I joined at Kyotis, and Helen Comerford taught me over there. And then I done 2 or 3 years there, and then I went on to Colony, another great box player, Westmeath, and he took me on then. So that was it.
And so when you were growing up, was there many sessions around?
Yeah, there was lots of sessions. We used to have a session there on a Wednesday night in Terrell's Pass, and then there was another one in Mullingar, Hughes's pub in Mullingar on a Thursday night, and there was lots of sessions, which was a great help to young people playing music and learning music. It's very important to go to these sessions and play music.
Yeah. And the great thing about Irish music is that it brings you all over the country, to the various festivals and that. So tell me a little bit about your travels around the country.
Well, I suppose competition playing at that brought us around a lot, going to different Leinster Flas and All Ireland Flas, and then with Kyotos I done tour of Britain there one time in '95, which was a great experience too, and different things like that, which is good.
Right. So tell me a little bit about that tour of Britain. Who travelled with you on that tour?
Well, there was 19 on the tour. There were from all over Ireland, picked, and it's an ongoing thing every year, So good experience going around playing in concerts and that, and you do something like maybe 15 concerts in the little over 2 weeks playing. So yeah, it's a good experience. I enjoyed it a lot now. Yeah.
Now, and you have another set of tunes for me.
Yeah, we're going to play a selection of jigs. Thanks, Anna.
Columb is from Killow, and he's a very accomplished musician. He began playing the whistle at a very young age and progressed to the flute. Paddy, you're very welcome to the Cosy Corner.
Thanks a million, Anna. It's great to be here.
You're a very accomplished musician. You started off on the whistle. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I started off on the whistle when I was back in primary school. I suppose I was in first class, and just learning the basics on the whistle, you know. Mary had little simple little tunes like that, and after a while I didn't realise what I was doing, but I was playing cuts and rolls, and back at the home, like, you know, my father was, he figured out what I was doing, and he brought me into Noel Sweeney. And Noel, to be honest with him now, he was fairly busy at the time, but he kept me on after one session, and sure, I just kept at it after that, you know.
The flute is a very difficult instrument to play.
Oh, yes, it is. I'll agree with you there now. I was a long time at it now before I had any notion what I was doing at all, you know.
Yeah. So you're a Leinster finalist and you have got through to the All-Ireland, and you've also part of the score group that recently qualified for the Leinster final this year.
Yeah, that score group now, hopefully now, there's a lot of potential in it now, you know. There's Marie Brady and Padraig Walsh, you know, two very good musicians, and hopefully now we'll give Leinster a good crack, give it our best, so that's it.
Right, and what are you going to play for me tonight?
I'll just play a selection of reels. First of all, I'll start off on the whistle, and then I'll move on to the flute there, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, Paddy, in your own time.
Right, thanks a minute.
Josephine Fox is a familiar voice at sessions all around the Midlands. Josephine, you're very welcome tonight to the Cosy Corner. Josephine, when did you begin singing?
I started singing about 8 years ago, and I recorded an album as well 3 years ago, and just couldn't get away from it either, like, you know, when we playing in sessions and going all around the place. And yeah.
And you're really enjoying the
I
music?
love it, yeah, I really love it, yeah. Yeah.
What are you going to sing for me tonight?
I'm going to sing a ballad, it's called Molly Bawn. Yeah, thank you. Jimmy went to fowling with his gun in his hand, fowling all day long, as you might understand. His sweetheart being out walking, he took her for a swan, and he shot his Molly Bawn at the setting of the sun. Jimmy went home with his gun in his hand, sad and broken hearted, as you might understand, saying, Father, dearest Father, do you know what I have done? I have shot my Molly Bawn at the setting of the sun. Now up and spoke his father, although his locks were grey, saying, Son, dearest son, do you not think of going away? Stay in this country until your trial is o'er, and you never will be hanged at the setting of the sun. 'Twas in 3 weeks after to her father she appeared, saying, Father, dearest Father, please don't think to shoot my dear. My white apron being around me, he took me for a swan, and he shot his Molly Bawn at the setting of the sun. Oh, Molly, dearest Molly, your
but now you are gone to me. I'll sail away and mourn, and soon I will be following you, my own Molly Bone. And soon I will be following you, my own Molly Bone.
Josephine Fox from Rochford Bridge. Michael,
Yes,
you grew up in Rochford Bridge,
yes.
and how did you start playing the pipes?
Well, I started off on the tin whistle.
Yes.
At the age of about 9, I was sent into Mullingar Hospital to get my appendix taken out, and I had 3 weeks off school.
Right.
So that's when I actually started playing music, was playing the tin whistle, and I progressed to the Eamon pipes at the age of 12.
And who was your teacher?
Well, I was fortunate enough to meet a lot of great musicians, but in the very early days, my dad played the concert flute, and but he took me to a man named Dan Cleary from Ballinamuir, near Clara in County Offaly. He used to teach over in a place called Ballycommon, outside of Tullamore, and 2 shillings a lesson at the time.
My God.
This is in the early 70s, and but he was my first official teacher. But then I learned from men like Sean Ryan, the fiddler, who he was actually a Tipperary man, but he lived in Rosenallis in County Laois. He was a marvellous fiddle player in his day, and then Paddy O'Brien from Tipperary, Joe Burke. You know, I got to see a great bunch of musicians. You know, not all men, a lot of good lady musicians too, by the way. So.
Yeah, there's some great names there, you know, piping.
Yeah, no.
And you spent 30 years in the States.
Pretty much, for the most part, yeah.
So,
always came home though.
Right, well, tell us a little bit about your trip to the States.
Well, it was actually, I went to the States to play music with Joe Burke. I made a recording there with him in, I think it was 1985, 86. Called Happy to Meet and Sorry to Part. Our joke was, it was sorry to meet and happy to part, was the backside of it. But no, we travelled extensively around the United States. You know, we promoted the music as much as we could, the traditional music.
Yes.
You know. The States was very familiar with the ballads and all that, but we played many traditional music. So we went to the East Coast, West Coast, the Midwest, all that. We saw a good few states, yeah. And there's a great, the traditional music in the States is going through a great period at the moment. It's very popular, you know.
And do you go over and back there?
No, I haven't been back now for a couple of years.
Right.
But I do intend to go back just to play, not to. It's time for me to live at home, as the fella says, you know. So.
You mentioned there that you recorded an album with Joe Burke. That's not your only album.
No, I recorded a few. I made 2 solo recordings. One is called A Stone's Throw. I made that in 2002, 2003, and then about 3 or 4 years ago, I did another solo recording called Just Piping, which is completely solo. The Stone's Throw has a lot of guest musicians on it, but the second album is just piping, as they say.
Right.
Yeah.
And if our listeners want to get a copy of those albums, where are they available?
Well, I have them myself, and they are for sale.
Right, and so they're available.
You can contact me at am I allowed to?
Yes, of course.
You can contact me at pipercooney@hotmail.com.
Right, so they email you, pipercooney at
hotmail.
At hotmail.com.
Yeah. And I'd be happy to, I've got all sorts of them, so I'd be happy to send on a copy.
That's brilliant.
Thank you for the plug.
Yeah, now, you have another set of tunes for me.
Yeah, I'm going to play, Martin and myself are going to play a couple of tunes together. The first tune, I'm told, is of French origin. I learned it from the playing of 3 great musicians, Jackie Daly and Seamus and Manus Maguire. They had a band called Buttons and Bows.
Yes.
And the name of the tune is Margaret's Waltz. And the lads tell me it's of French origin. And then we'll go into a great old tune called The Fox Hunter's Reel. And thanks, Martin, for the accompaniment.
Beautiful, beautiful. Eamon.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about growing up in Rochford Bridge. That would have been back in the 50s, wouldn't it?
So they're the 60s.
The 60s. And was there much music in Rochford Bridge then?
Yeah, there was good music that time. Declan's father and Jack Arthur, and he played the fiddle, Jack Arthur, and there was Declan's uncle, Mick Fox.
Yes.
Them three people played music, dance in my house
Right.
at my sister's wedding. And that time there was great country for house dances. And those were the main musicians that played a lot of music. And then there was Joe Smullen and Joe Delaney. Joe Delaney had a Kerry band, and I danced to him when I was growing up. And he's great players in that as well. And Tommy Smullen was another great player. I played accordion. So there was marvellous music in my time, 60 years ago.
My God.
Yeah.
Well, the house dance is a thing of the past. Tell me a little bit about the house dances.
Well, we had our Ramnan house, it was. Everybody came into us for a Kerry. My mother and father was what do you call it, radiogram.
Yes.
And the records, LP records out that time, they were long playing records. The Gallagher Kelly band and all the leading show bands or bands was out that time. We bought the records and we had great music.
Right.
That's how we made our music when I was only this age.
Sadly, this brings us to the close of this week's edition of the Cosy Corner. I hope you can join us next week. Declan, Mick, Michael, Eamon, Leona and Martin. It has been a pleasure listening to you. You're going to play us out with a couple of tunes. Declan, what are they?
We're going to start with a hornpipe, and then we're going to do into a reel, The Books of Overmore. Thanks very much. One, two.